Welcome to Taswira TV English program, and this is English analysis.
Taswira TV, al'adunmu, mutuncinmu.
Hello everyone, you are all welcome to Taswira TV English program, presented by me, Faisal Ibrahim Kako. This is English analysis section. The English analysis section has two parts: English grammar and oral English. We always start with the English grammar and then the oral English part. This is episode 4 of English analysis. I am going to give another example of words. Okay, I say car, and then I say Aisha. Aisha is a name, and then I say happiness. I said beautiful. I said run. I said become. Silently. Inside. You can have a look at the words on the blackboard. Starting with the first one, car. The first one, car, is a name. It's a name of something. That is a vehicle. A vehicle with 4 tires, right? So it's a name. So we can say the function, the grammatical function of the first word is a name. So you see it has its own grammatical function. The second one, Aisha. Aisha is a name of a female person. Aisha is a name of a female person. So the grammatical function of the second word is a name. The third word, happiness. Happiness is a word carrying an idea. Happiness is a word carrying an idea. So this is also another grammatical function. So the first 3 words, car, Aisha, and happiness, are noun. Words that carry names or idea are nouns. Coming to the number 4, the word number 4, beautiful. Beautiful is another word. It also has its own grammatical function. It also has its own grammatical function, and its grammatical function is describing another word. For example, Aisha is a word, and the word has its own grammatical function of a name, and beautiful is a word that describes another function. So I said Aisha is beautiful. For example, Aisha is beautiful. So this word beautiful describes the word Aisha. It tells us how Aisha looks like. So she is beautiful. So this word has its own grammatical function of a name, and this word has its own grammatical function of describing another word. So we call this adjective. Adjectives are words that describe or modifies noun. This is a noun. So this adjective describes and modifies this word noun. So you see, I'm giving you this word and I'm showing you the grammatical function, and each word has its own grammatical function. Run. Run is an action. So this word run is called a verb. Verbs are words that describe action or state of being. They express actions or state of being. So if I say Aisha runs, Aisha runs. The word Aisha has its own grammatical function, which is noun, name of something. Aisha is a name of a female person, and the word run is an action. So you see, Aisha runs. These are two words, and each of these two words have its own grammatical function. Aisha is a name. The word run is an action word, so it's a verb. Become is also a verb. This expresses state of being. Aisha becomes Aisha becomes beautiful. The word becomes expresses the state of being of Aisha, that it becomes beautiful. And the word beautiful describes Aisha. So become is a verb because it expresses state of being. I will tell you more about state of being later, at a later topic. Silently. Aisha walked silently. Aisha walks silently. The word silently is also has its own grammatical function. That is, it shows how an action is done. So we have words that are named, we have words that describes names, we have words that are action, and we have words that show how an action is done. For example, silently. Aisha walks silently. The word silently describes how the walking is done. That is, the walking is done silently. So the word silently has its own grammatical function of describing how what is done, how work is done. Inside. This is another word with another grammatical function. Inside. This is telling us position. Place is telling us position and place. For example, the place and the position of something is inside, maybe inside the classroom. For example, Aisha is inside the classroom. So the word inside is telling us the position and the place of Aisha. So you can see all these are words, but among these words, you can give the function of each of the words as it exists. Each of these words, they exist to play a function, which is a grammatical function. All the words have, each of these words has its own separate grammatical function that it exists. So we have 8 functions. We have 8 functions because we have 8 parts of speech. We have 8 parts of speech. Okay, so we have 8 functions. So every word that ever exists in English, every word that ever exists in English must have its own grammatical function. That is, must fall under 8 types of parts of speech we have. It may be a name, or describe a name, or be an action word, or tells position, just like we show you. So our next topic is going to be types of parts of speech. Types of parts of speech. Now I can claim the definition of parts of speech, right? Good. Types of parts of speech. Types of parts of speech. We have eight types of parts of speech. We have 8 types of parts of speech. This means every word that ever exists must have its grammatical function, And that grammatical function must fall under either one or more of the eight, must fall under either one or more of the eight, will never be more than the eight, because we have eight parts of speech. So you can listen to someone's speech, maybe in written form or verbally. All the words he says in English, even if the word will extend, even if what he says is for 1 hour, 2 hour, 20 years, listen to what he says. Even if the words are 1,000 words, he says something, sentence, phrases, whatever he says, pick out the sentences he said, break them into words, pick out whatever he says, break them into words, pick out all the words one by one. Maybe he says something for 1 hour, 2 hour, 10, 20 years. Pick out the words one by one. You will see that all the words have function, and the functions of the words must fall under the 8 types of parts of speech we have in English. And they are nouns and pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, conjunctions. Anyway, let me give preposition and then conjunction. Prepositions, conjunctions, and lastly we have interjection. We have interjections. I'll just have a 1 minute break, maybe 30-second break, and then come back to see the types of parts of speech we have. This is the end of the English grammar part. And what we have next is the oral English part. This doesn't mean sound heard when a door is closed, sound of footsteps, sound of yawning, sounds of hissing. No. In oral English, when we say sounds, we only mean sounds of human voice. Human voice means the sound used to speak. That's why we call them speech sounds. Speech sounds. The sound when we used that we used to speak. The voice you hear, our voice, what we say to speak. We are talking about sounds we used to speak. Sound we used to speak. That is the voice we used to speak. The voice we used to speak. The voice are the sounds we used to speak. The voice are our speech. We used to say something. The voice are the voice are the sounds we used to say something. The voice, so the voice is the sound we used to say something. The voice is the sound we used to say something. This is what we mean by speech sound. Speech sound. Speech sounds. So we will be analyzing speech sound. Speech sound, there are many things under speech sound. That is what we say when speaking. Our voice, the sound we used to speak. Even now what I'm saying is speech sound. What I'm saying even now is speech sound. My speech comprises of many speech sounds, many types of speech sound. What I'm saying is speech sound. The language you speak is speech sound. Any type of language you use to speak, the voice you use to speak in your language, the voice you use to speak in your language is speech sound. But here we are talking about speech sound in English because this is English, oral English. This is oral English. This is all about speech sounds. I know now you can explain the meaning of speech sound. Now moving to the next thing. Organs of speech. We use our speech sound to say something. But how do we use them? We need tools, machines, equipment to say that speech. These are the organs of speech. Organs of speech we use our organs of speech to create speech sound. Just like you need a machine to do your work, we use organs of speech to say sounds. Just like a carpenter needs hammer and saw to do his work, we use organs of speech to say sounds. Of course, a mechanic uses a screwdriver, a plier, and all the tools. There are many tools used for many work. There are many tools used for different types of work. Different types of work. So this is the tools for creating sound, voice that we use to speak. Speech sound is the organ of speech. So organ of speech is the tool used for creating sounds. Just like we use generator for generating electricity. Generator is the machine we use for generating electricity. That's the work of that machine. Printer is a device used for printing out images. Of course, printer is the device used for printing out images. So also organ of speech are the machines, tools, equipment used for the production of speech. Used for the production of speech. We use the organ as the machine to produce the speech. We use organs of speech as the machine to produce speech. The organs are here in human's body, in our body. They are the tools. Just like I'm talking to you, this is my speech sound. I use the organ of speech as the machine to produce this speech sound. So let me give you the definition of organs of speech. This is the end of the oral English part. So this is the end of the lesson program for this episode. This is episode 4 you have watched of English analysis. I wish you best of luck during this practice exercise. If you do not get the answers to the exercise the way you should, then you need to watch the lesson program again, and then you go back to the practice exercise. You repeat this process again and again and again and again until you achieve great mastery. Basically, you can watch this lesson program for as many times as you like in our social media handles.
Taswira TV, al'adunmu, mutuncinmu.
To watch this program in our social media handles, you visit Taswira TV Studio on YouTube, Taswira TV on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. All these are there. You can see them.
Taswira TV, al'adunmu, mutuncinmu.
You have watched Taswira TV English program presented by me, Faisal Ibrahim Kako, the English analysis section. Thank you for watching until we meet on the next episode.